your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
What's up, everybody? My fat ass is eating. I was hungry. I made the mistake going food shopping without eating. Who does that? So I was just finishing up my butter chicken, which I love. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Absolutely. Happy Friday. Y'all, we made it. We made it to Friday. For a lot of people, that is the end of your week. A lot of people work on weekends, so it don't really matter. But Friday is here. I heard there was a national strike today. Listen to me. Everything is going to shit. And I'm telling y'all for a year that this moment was coming. I tell you, it's all going to shit. And that is what happened. What the hell is going on in these sheets in my home? Baby, wait, let me explain before you start to point your case. Okay, anyway, I'm back. It was a moment. Chat, I have a special guest. One of my favorite people to follow on social media. I often call her my favorite octoroon because something is up in there. And I don't care what she say. Somebody in that family was mixing and swirling. And I call her my favorite octoroon. I'm going to bring our girl Kathy to the stage. Kathy.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Political Theater with Dr. T.
I'm absolutely humbled and so excited to be here. And I want to let you know, one of my little ringlets showed up for you today.
Look at that.
You see it? You see it trying to curl right here? I'm so excited to be here. This is so exciting. So thank you for having me. I'm just a regular girl from the Baltimore area. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm
Please
passionate.
follow. Go hit that follow button.
Yeah.
She's really great to follow.
I'm eating too.
Okay. She's eating Kit Kats, y'all.
Yep.
So she like that chocolate. She like that chocolate. That's in her DNA.
I can't hide any of it. I can't. I never tried. That's why they hate me. That's why they hate me, Doc. I can never hide it. Little girl.
Oh my gosh. Oh, somebody said they're in Threads jail until February 2nd. Well, what the hell did you do? Who you done pissed off?
Oh, no.
What'd you say? You probably said men are trash, right? They will allow women are dumb bitches. Niggers need to die. But if you say men are trash, they'll ban you for like a year.
They allow, literally, they'll put dick on Maine. Some guy smoking what I believe to be crack or meth. That lives on forever. But
what was that?
What exactly?
Chat, if you missed it, there was a dude doing methamphetamine on his main account.
Insanity.
All right, y'all.
Total insanity. I didn't jinx y'all with the Catherine O'Hara news. I did not think. I remember I had a lot of thoughts this morning, and I thought about.
You killed Catherine O'Hara? Is that was you?
Somebody is blaming me for her.
I do that sometimes. Like I'll talk about a celebrity, and 2 days later they're dead.
It's something.
It's been my whole life.
Look, Spawn 3 and I killed Christopher Plummer. I'm convinced because the first time we watched Sound of Music, she wanted to know who was he, how old he was now. He was so attractive and so handsome. And we looked him up on Wiki, and the next day he was dead. So do with that what you will.
Too.
It's not right.
It really trips. It's been like this my whole life. I'll talk about some obscure person I haven't thought about or anything. Nobody's talking about them. I did that with the Leverts. I killed both of the Leverts.
Both of them?
So bad. Both of them. It was bad. I was like, God damn. All right, y'all. We have to get into the news of today. So it happened all so fast. First we get Pam Bondi. Now listen, Pam Bondi. What are your thoughts on Pam Bondi?
My thoughts on Pam Bondi are that she was at one point a victim somewhere in this chain, and she's now become a perpetrator. She likely was part of this whole Epstein. So look, I've experienced it. It took me, a good 40 years of my life to understand that the white woman carrying the water for the white man, it takes you getting to the top thinking that you've made it for them to say, sorry, it was just off her show. And so at some point, Kristi Noem's going under the bus, Pam Bondi's going under the bus, Caroline Leavitt's going under the bus. They will throw every white woman that they can out before they throw out the worst white guy. We all know this. So that's what I think about her. I think she's stuck in a situation that she probably doesn't know her way out of, but she's also a perpetrator, and I don't give a fuck.
Right. Is she going before or after Cash Patel?
She'll definitely go before.
Okay.
I think.
And you know who just popped up? I just saw her name. That Tulsi Gabbard. We hadn't heard much from her.
Very quiet.
Because Tulsi Gabbard is out for self. She don't give a damn about Donald Trump and MAGA. She don't like the Democrat. Like she has always been out for herself. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And so they're keeping her muzzled. We haven't heard much from her, but I think the other day she said something. I'm not gonna bother to look it up because she's not worth the time. But she's isn't she like mixed or something? She's something. Tulsi is something, ain't she?
Well, Tulsi Gabbard though, hasn't she been proven to be, involved in like the whole, Russian?
She's a Russian asset. No, she's definitely a Russian asset.
I really don't. I guess I don't seek out information on her because
I'm not willing to go look it up. Sometimes in the middle of the show, I'll look something up. I want more information.
I don't. She's not credible as a human being at this point to me, right?
Don't actually care.
Yeah.
Right. Then the director of the National Intelligence, like, what is she doing? Like,
yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
Other than sowing division on social media by planting.
They do not rule.
That's what she's doing. So Pam Bondi said on X. First of all, can we just like have a half a second to just be reminded of how incredibly ridiculous it is that all this shit takes place on social media?
When I saw the staged Mar-a-Lago situation room with one of the huge TVs with X up on the board, I just lowered my head, man. I'm like, we are really saying that this is not only the primary method with which the information is going to be disseminated, but we know they're using the data and the algorithms to collect how we're responding and how the message is getting.
And that's how they determine, where they're going with it. I keep telling people this shit all the time. I'm like, first of all, I actually, in my merch, which the thing is up there, I sell neck gaiters. So you can cover your goddamn mouth when you go out there into these protests, okay? I have different neck gaiters. You can buy to cover your face. Because all of you people are going out to these protests and showing your faces and they're scanning. I just read a piece today where they pulled over a woman who is she's like like one of the legal monitor type folks, and they called her by name and identified her through her facial recognition, and they revoked her global entry in her TSA.
At that point,
accesses. Yeah. Oh, God. They got rid of it. So here we are. This is where we are. Right. And so, but yet y'all still walking out there like.
Like, hey, catch me at First Ave,
Minority Report right here. Like,
that's such a good flick. We should be recommending all of those flicks that they
all of them. I mean, they done already told us everything. But this is what Pam Bondi said. This is what she said.
Hey, just as a reminder, Tiffany, I'm going to come back to one of your comments. Go ahead.
Okay. At my direction early this morning, federal agents arrested Don Lemon, Traherne Jean Cruz, Georgia Ford, and Jamel Lytle Lundy in connection with coordinated attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota, right? Okay, so first of all, the framing of an attack on a church. I watched Don live as he did this. There was absolutely no attack on the church.
Of course not. Of course not.
And as I mentioned in the previous show, folks, I know Nikema Levi Armstrong. I was on the board of an organization in which she was the executive director. We actually brought her on She is definitely a dynamic activist, and she has been about that life for a long time. So, she was arrested, and we know that really kind of was the domino that started to set off the chain, because I know that Pam mentioned these other two brothers. She said Jamal and Trey Hearn, but let's not forget that Nakima was also arrested, and that really kicked it off. So, but I think they arrested her to try to build a case that there was some kind of criminal activity that happened by arresting her as like the head, and then that way they could, try to justify arresting other people. But here's the thing. We know that there were other journalists there. There were other people, related to this. And they only called for the arrest of the Black people.
The Black people. Yeah. It's as horrendous as it is transparent, right? Because what they're doing is they're testing the waters with us white people to see how far they're tracking algorithms and data and how we're reacting to these things, to say how much further can we take this. And I want to make a quick Tiffany, you brought up something interesting in one of her comments, and it was relative to why does this keep happening on Friday? And I just want to say that I've been thinking a lot about this. I actually did a little bit of research today because I personally am picking up on this pattern as well. Like, I came from the HR. I
have my answer, but I'm definitely listening.
So in the HR world, and when it comes to psychological behavior, when you think about making big announcements or big changes that may or may not be of question to employees, these could be things like the CEO is leaving, or we're bringing on a new director, we're laying off the engineering department, or by the way, you're out of here today. Those things happen on Friday for a reason, and it has very little to do with the affected party themselves. Just like these arrests, it's meant specifically to give the audience, the left behind, that I call it the left behind audience, a feeling and a time of processing, of communicating over the next 72, 48, whatever hours with one another, with the person affected, to get all of that kind of internal rage, angst, confusion out, so that Monday we can start the cycle again. That's literally how I see it. Very simply.
Yep. And as somebody who inspired a lot of people through this process, we do it on Fridays. We don't pull people in to come in and then be like, okay, you got to come to work and then we fight. No, because we don't want anybody to kill us.
That's right.
But that's definitely it. And I appreciate you bringing in the HR aspect of that. The other hood aspect is that they don't do shit on the weekends. You get popped on a Friday, you ain't getting out till Monday.
Yeah.
Right. And so they get money for all the people that they house. Right. So a lot of arrests happen on Fridays, especially Friday afternoons.
That's right.
Because ain't nobody processing anything.
Judges are gone.
You're done. The clothes you're in are the clothes you're going to walk out with on Monday. You'll be lucky if they let you go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times during that time. Right. You'd be lucky if you even eat 2 times over the weekend. They don't actually care, but they because this is a carceral abusive system, they love that. So they catch you on a Friday. You ain't going nowhere till Monday. You may not even get a phone call till Sunday, right?
And depending on where you are, the line, right? If you're in specific jurisdictions or municipal areas like, Baltimore's, central booking in Baltimore City is really regarded as one of the worst, in terms of, getting a Friday arrest and maybe not getting out until Tuesday, even just because of the amount of volume they take on during the weekend.
Also, I agree. They want to see your reaction when most people are on social media on the weekends, but also, and we're going to get into this, the Epstein files got released.
Yeah.
They did their damnedest to distract us with arresting all of these people, knowing that, we're upset about people being killed and all the stuff like that. They knew those files were going to have to be released today.
Right.
And so they used these Black people as pawns.
That's correct.
To distract us from the fact that Donald Trump may have very well serially raped girls.
Yeah. And boys.
Okay. And boys. Right. I'm sorry about that. Yes.
No,
I should say I'm just going to say minors.
Right. Yeah. Minors. We can see.
Because that's what it was looking like. Chad, I want you to say something. What you want to say? Go ahead.
I was just going to say that when you think about this drop today, my biggest question was, why. And I texted you that earlier. Like, why, you know, why is about information saturation. And that's part of the PSYOP, right? Is that when you overload a group of people, whether it's your home or a classroom full of children, the information saturation is doing a couple of things to our brains, right? It's desensitizing and it's giving a level of permission back to the victimizer to say, well, wait a minute. The other thing is human behavior by nature is that we don't believe things till we see them happening. We just don't. That's why.
And they know that people's brain functioning and capacity has decreased significantly because of the social media and the oversaturation. 24-hour news cycle. They said what people's attention span is 22 seconds now. They know that people can't hold that much. I mean, we can because we're smart, and we're big brain people, right? Yeah. But I'm not trying to be offensive, but I know a big brain person when I see them, and that's a person who has the capacity to store a lot of information. Yeah. They're really good at trivia, right? Like those Jeopardy type brains, right? I have one of those brains, and I tell you, and I know you do, and like so it's just like random shit that we're storing there, right? We might be the last generation that is able to do that because of the intentional like overstimulation. The human brain was not meant to process all of these stimuli. It just was not.
And we're finding it all out now. And there's a recent lawsuit, maybe even dropped today, of Meta being sued for intentionally creating social media to addict children. Like that's what's out now. So if we are willing to accept that on prima facie that could be possible, hands down, this has all been about how do we keep large groups of people tired, weakened, and ignorant.
And one of our resident medical professionals pointed out the damage of COVID infection, what that does to the brain, right? And though we lost 1 million people to COVID, far more people had it, and then even more people had it and didn't know it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the asymptomatic cases, the ones of us who didn't have a severe case and didn't even go get tested. I mean, a lot of us were like, if it was 3 days, who's going, you just figure that's a cold, right?
Listen, I was very confident because I was testing all the time. I was paranoid. First of all, I'm the kind of person, I don't really get sick, right? Part of it is being in my damn house.
Right.
The other part of it, I never had chicken pox. I never, like everybody got chicken pox when we were little. Like our parents would try, like my mom sent me to the parties to try to
I had my best friend come over so we could take a bath together.
Exactly. That's what our sick parents did. But chicken pox gone though.
So many ways.
Chicken pox gone though. It worked. It worked. It didn't work on me. I would go to them parties and wouldn't catch a thing. And I'm also somebody like I get a cold maybe every 2 to 3 years. You know what I mean? So when COVID came along, of course I was going to get the shots because I'm not a stupid anti-vaxxer. But I got the shots and I got like the boosters. So I had like 3 shots in total. I was regularly testing because I was traveling a lot. Right. Why was I traveling? A lot of people like, oh, you guys are traveling. Everybody outside of the U.S. was doing COVID better than the U.S. The best place to be was outside of the United States. Yeah, I went to Morocco and I was in Fez. And I asked, I was like, well, about how many people got, COVID? They said maybe 300, 310. I said, you see, because the Muslims wash their ass every time they take a shit. So obviously the hygiene practices are better. Went to Cuba. Nope. They were like, So these places did everything better. That's why the hell I was traveling. Get the fuck out of my face. But it required me to test a lot, right? So... No, you're right. Everybody does medicine, but everybody. I just came back from Mexico with all the medicines I need for the next year for like $30.
That's insane.
Here we are. No, it's crazy. They had Tampax for $4. The big box too. $4. I'm joints be $10.
10. Deodorant the other day was like $12.
Oh yeah, no. Why? Okay. Anyway, this has nothing to do with y'all. We can gabbing. We can sit here and do this all day. That is not what y'all are here for. So we're back. We're back, folks. I just wanted to show you all this shit that the White House posted. This was on X. It says, when life gives you lemons, and then there's 2 chains there. And then it says, Don Lemon arrested for involvement in St. Paul Church riots. Now it's riots. Before she said it was an attack on them. Then they say riots, as in plural, as in more than one riot happened.
It's complete. I mean, it's propaganda from top to bottom. It's so obvious.
Now listen. What the hell do chains represent, y'all?
You know exactly what those chains represent.
What the hell do chains represent?
And also, how do you make chains out of lemons? So, like, who is doing their social media?
When life gives you lemons, you make chains. Oh, you fucking losers. I swear to God. Like, sometimes I get angry.
Did you notice how they actually also seem to degrade the photo around his face? Intentionally made him...
Let's pull that back. Look at that.
That man does not look like that.
Look at his hands all look big.
It doesn't look right.
Extra white.
That's right. Look at the way they've photoshopped all these extra shadows in here.
Yeah. And we know that they did that to Nekima as well, right? We know that they
told us. I mean, basically.
They told us like they altered the photo. So yeah. Okay. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Where do we go next? I don't even know.
So here's the charges. Let me show you guys the charges. Do I have that pulled up? It'd be nice if I did. Okay, yes, I do. Let me share my screen. These were the charges, and he's still facing these charges. Now, they have released him without bond, right? They have released him. Okay. So first of all, the United States of America, it's a whole thing. Nekima Valdez, Levy Armstrong, Chantel Lewis Allen, William Scott Kelly, aka the woke farmer. Kathy, can you pull up his profile for me while I'm doing this, so we can just send it to me via text, please, if you don't mind.
The William Scott Kelly, right?
Yeah, the woke farmer. Don Ronaldo Lemon. I didn't know Ronaldo was his middle name. Now they blocked out somebody. Does anybody know who these people that were blocked out? Are they white people? Because that's what they'll do.
Probably. That's a very interesting question.
No, because they will block out the white people. Jamel Lydell Lundy, Trey Hearn, Jean Cruz, Georgia Elise Fort, and blank. They put them all together. And it's interesting. If anybody happens to know the names of the other people, thank you so much. Oh, so he's white. So the woke farmer is white. But he calls himself woke, so
that's right.
I can say that you can't. He's been niggified, right? Because he uses woke. All right. So this is what we got here. The city's church is a Christian house. Huh?
He's definitely a woke farmer.
He's kind of cute.
Did you take a picture?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get
through I'm sorry. I read ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. So on the morning of January, said blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I was watching this. So I saw when it happened, and I was following the whole thing. It said in that service, church pastor and congregation were then exercising and seeking to exercise the First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of religious worship, a right that is also protected, blah, blah, blah. After the service commenced, a group of 20 to 40 agitators, including all of the defendants named in this indictment, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threats, interference, and physical obstruction alleged herein. Now, we already know that that's wrong. We already know that Don was serving as press and Georgia was serving as press. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know who the other 2 people, but they could also be press. Mm-hmm. And I just want to remind everybody, because a lot of people don't know, that Black Lives Matter as a central organization has long been done, but there have been so many chapters that have kept on their work. And it's really important for you all to know that many of the demonstrations and protests and things that have been happening in Minneapolis are organized by them, okay, and other Black-led organizations. We see the white folks showing up, and that's great because they're putting their bodies on the line and they're heeding the call. But people need to understand that behind the scenes, it is primarily Black organizers that are doing this, right? So that's why that's important to note. Okay. And then this idea of a takeover style attack, that is not what's happening, right? Okay. As a result, blah, 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 blah. Count one. And here go the allegations. They beginning at an unknown date and continuing to on or about.
That was my favorite part. How do you claim, and I'm not a lawyer, everybody knows this, not a lawyer or journalist. How do you claim a conspiracy when you can't pinpoint?
You can't identify. You can't say
when it started.
They are so wildly incompetent.
I mean, this is just, for me, this is law 101. And if we have any legal people on here, I feel like I'm being gaslit 24/7.
No, absolutely. I mean, no. And that's what I tell people in the show all the time. I said, if you're feeling triggered by these things, if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, if you've ever been in a relationship where a person constantly gaslit you, that's probably why you're being triggered, because you are, you're experiencing it again on behalf of your government, right? Okay, let's keep going. So they conspired and agreed with one another and with other persons known and unknown to the grand jury, known and unknown. Okay. To injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate multiple persons, including the clergy, staff, and congregants of the city's church in a free exercise of enjoyment of the rights and privilege secured by the laws of the United States. The irony there is they were also exercising the rights guaranteed by the same amendment.
The same amendment.
The same amendment. You don't even have to go down to number 7 or 8.
You don't. It's literally right.
It's literally the same amendment.
It's just commas.
It's just commas. Commas.
That's why I feel like I'm going nuts.
Semicolons. Right. All right. So we know that Don Lemon was not conspiring. How do we know this? Because we watched Don Lemon go there, and I don't know how many of you saw it. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I watched Don Lemon's show. I told people today, I watch him twice a day. Ever since he went like independent or whatever, he's got the resources, he's got the team to do this. So he's really out there, and he's one of the few political streamers that actually does on the street stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and I'm the same way. Not a personal, fan of anybody involved in any of this, but what I love about this situation is that he took and he turned this into his own audience to be an independent journalist and expose other things that under the old umbrella he was never going to be able to do. Right. And I don't know if it would help our audience real quick just to really quickly, briefly talk about what journalist protection means or is supposed to mean in this country. Journalists are supposed to be able to gather news, number one. Yeah. They are supposed to be able to be recognized as an observer of that news. And I learned that really young, looking at pictures of journalists at war. Why do they have vests on? Why don't they just shoot them? All of those weird things that you ask, like, why are the journalists protected? Those things all exist in this same place. Being credentialed, right? That signals credibility, and that signals that you are part of that journalism crowd. In order for this to have risen to, in my understanding of the law, some type of criminal activity, Don Lemon would have had to have been an organizer and an instigator of the event. And all of the evidence that we have seen thus far, up to right now, this day.
I want to show the audience, just in case they hadn't seen it. Okay. This is what happened. I'm going to show you. And listen to him. Listen to what he is saying.
Minnesota! Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out!
This is John on the left.
Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out!
He's not saying nothing with them. He's not doing anything.
Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out! Minnesota! Ice out!
Okay.
Go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Hold on.
Who later we filed a lawsuit against.
Hold on.
Fine. Do not wear it in if you're going in to just sit down and be a part of the situation. Yeah, don't all sit together. But when y'all, if I wanted to say that, I would. When we pull up, you'll know exactly what it is. So if you are a white ally, again, and you have anything activism identifying, do not go in with the first wave. You wait until you come in with us as people of color. Okay?
You guys.
She's an organizer.
They're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold.
See, I just need y'all to hear that. They invited us, right, to cover it. And they go to someone like Don Lemon because he is independent, because he's not beholden to any institution. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he's saying. And he was like, I'm not going to tell you where they are. You know, again,
I have no idea what's going to happen.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Journalists protect their sources. None of this is new, right?
No.
Told here on the Don Lemon Show, there are for this reason it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said, white allies here.
Still just recording.
That is what I can say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here.
Look at this.
But
if he's conspiring, why wouldn't he be covering everything? Right?
There we go. Anyway. Everybody's ready to go.
And then he's in his car. And they're just waiting to go.
Yeah. Is that a curb there?
Not to go on the thing.
But
Are
I
you
can't see
okay?
anything
Park.
on that
Just hit
side.
park. I got it. Let me do
Now
this.
you know.
I can't.
Now you know Sister Dawn gonna have him a twink with her. You know he gonna have him a little twink with him.
He's a driver.
Yeah. I'll go ahead.
It's okay. I got it.
She's like, I got it.
Just hit park.
I got you.
So they there, right? And so he comes, and this is what he's doing. Okay, look at y'all. Watch.
And your work doing the great commission that you have given us in full. It is to that end.
They're just recording.
Mighty God, that we ask now for we.
Hold on. It's just kind of there. But I just want y'all to see this. Like, I want y'all to see this is what Don Lemon got arrested for. And we have to like bear witness to this kind of thing, y'all. Like, it's really important that we bear witness.
Yeah, and we have to keep watching these things. I know that throughout the day it's hard and we need to take breaks, but we have to watch with our own eyes before the story or narrative changes.
The Gospel of John, chapter.
Here in the city, in the area.
Somebody fell on the left. Oh, somebody else fell on the left. Now they're coming in. Now they weren't even part of the demonstration.
Oh no. They're trying to calm him down. So I don't know if this is what they deem as successful or not. But anyways, I'm not going to get in the middle of it because I'm not here as an activist. I'm here as a journalist.
What did he say? What did he say? Chat.
He
very
literally
clearly
said out loud, I'm not here as an activist, I'm here as a journalist.
I'm here as a journalist. This is why you record your shit. He made it very clear. I am not here as an activist. I am here as a journalist.
He even made it clear, I'm not going to get in the middle of it.
I'm not going to get in the middle of it. Right.
What else? Well, why?
But he knew what he had to say. because he's Don Lemon and he's a seasoned journalist. He knew he had to say these things and make these things clear.
Yeah. I mean, this is somebody who's done this for so long. He understands how to conduct himself. He knows what the laws are that are protecting him at every second, every step of the way. And he's not one of these newbies who's going to get tripped up by some technicality. It's just not feasible in my mind. Now, everybody's can make an error once in a while, but I don't see it personally. I see him doing all the things we would expect.
Right. And as Aaron says, if he was an organizer, he would have known if they were achieving their goals. He didn't know what the goals were. He didn't know what was what. All right, let's look at this this guy, the woke farmer. I want to show you guys, show him.
He's quite a character.
Is he now? All right, the woke farmer, guys. This is the woke farmer with a hat that says "fuck Trump." If ICE is covering their faces, why the hell don't y'all cover your? That's the shit I don't understand. Okay. Anyway, he's got his red keffiyeh on. Free Palestine. Fuck Trump. He got the beard. He's kind of all the cylinders, ain't he? Anyway.
This is the warning. If you look like this and you come out, I'll arrest you too.
Pretty
That's
much.
what this is.
Pretty
this
much.
is what, and this is my own lens as a white woman, having been around white men my entire fucking life, and you know, as I said, carrying their water for them. But this is a picture, and if you look like this, a white dude with a beard in January, coming out to a protest to put your body in front of danger for Black and brown people or women or children, we'll take you in. We don't care.
Right. Yeah. And an anti-deportation protester who dared Attorney General Pam Bondi to arrest him for crashing a Sunday church is now in custody. Well, that's the thing. That's a good way to provoke them. Because be like, get at me, bro. Right.
But like, that's so obviously, it's so obviously an American, from what we can tell. William Kelly is his name. Why is ICE? You know, we can keep going over and over and over again, but we know that this is also, it's the psychological part of this. Tiffany had another really good point. Farmers are facing the consequences. The farmers and the people that are going to start showing up that look like William Kelly, the woke farmer.
Right.
There may be these bailouts that are happening, but if they aren't getting touched by that, if they aren't getting the help that they perceive they deserve, money answers to no one. We all know that. So you know, it wouldn't be out of the norm for this to continue to happen.
Mm-hmm. He is said to have said, as you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. Oh, that's what he was shouting. Hey.
Yeah. So if you're on here and you're a white person, you can't let this be what you're afraid of. Be a race traitor.
Okay, he was ready. He was heading to Minneapolis, y'all. Hold on.
Let's go find some Nazis and scold them for their bad life decisions. Stay loud, everyone.
He looked like Jesus.
All right, I made it through security with my megaphone. Surprisingly, headed to Minneapolis. Let's go find some Nazis and scold them for their.
He said, "Let's go find some Nazis.
Find some Nazis and scold them."
He's being an inglorious, but he's like, "We're gonna find some Nazis."
Let's go, William Kelly. Yeah. That's and it's interesting.
Oh shit!
You know that why is like this is what is ICE? I don't understand anymore. I mean, I understand, but this particular piece to me is so transparently propaganda that I don't know how much longer it's going to take. Right? You and I talked about this before I got on. Is watching the collective awakening. By the way, the woke came from awakening, right? It's this awakening that all the systems and papers and the Constitution and the rights, they're all theater, and they rely on an honor code. And as soon as one person decides to break that down, the whole thing collapses. We've got House of Cards, we've got The West Wing, we've got story after story where this is played out in entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't think people have come to the realization yet, or I think the slow realization is happening right now.
Yeah, no, listen, this is what the Hunger Games was about, our obsession with reality television and the 24/7 news cycle. This is exactly what Suzanne Collins was writing about. A lot of people missed that and they were focused on these other things. But the overarching theme was we are entirely too obsessed with this 24/7 media cycle, reality television. I mean, they had them reshooting things to make sure that it looked good on camera, like reshooting a revolution. Like, did we not get to that part? Did we not get to the Mockingjay? Like, they had them waging revolution, but Paul, stop. We need you to reshoot that because it didn't look as good for TV. This is what she was critiquing. And that's why when I brought up the Hunger Games, and I know it's a more recent story. I mean, we've got 1984, Animal Farm Parable, the parables and stuff like that. But this is relevant to our time, right? Yeah. And this is what she's talking about. But I want to switch gears a little bit. Because another journalist was also arrested. And this is a Black woman, Georgia Ford. Oh, let me not show y'all my stuff. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see. Here we go. I want y'all to watch this one. Let me turn on the sound. It's maybe a little difficult to watch, but we're going to watch it anyway.
Agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to my attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this.
They've been disappearing, folks, at Whipple.
Stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press, because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press.
Okay, I'll stop that there, and then let's pick it up because she was let's get some let's look at this one real quick.
Of the journalists sparked protests in Minneapolis throughout the day.
Journalism is under attack.
And after their initial court appearance, the judge ordered all the defendants to be released, all their cases pending.
Amplifying the truth, documenting what is happening in our community is not a crime. And the questions that were asked a few weeks ago on a Sunday morning by concerned community members, those questions still need to be answered. And as a journalist, I am committed to continuing to follow the story until their questions are answered.
Okay. So she, she's out. Don is out. They're all out pending whatever, right? There ain't got no case against these people. Doc, they have nothing. I call you Doc. You call me Doc. Whatever. They have nothing.
I told you, Doc. Look, this is all a temperature check.
Yeah, she did. She got more charges than Don Lemon, which is interesting.
This is a temperature check to see what are people going to do. How are they going to respond?
Yeah. And they saw very clearly that we're not having this around the world.
I tend to be pretty nihilist sometimes, and I know if you probably know that, most people know that. It's not a big secret. But what I think is interesting is the infantilizing of the American people to suggest that we don't have the ability to compartmentalize all these things. Specifically, Gen X gets a lot of talk and shit because half of us are stuck in MAGA. It's just like half of us came along with the tech and half of us stayed. It's the same thing. Yeah. So when I think about our ability to compartmentalize, the way that we had to learn information and the way that we had to store that in our brains as kids, that translates as adults. So yeah, am I overwhelmed today because the gold and the silver are all over the place, and I'm sure the financial collapse is imminent. And
the U.S. dollar is the lowest it's been in 4 years.
I know. We had like the 12th something in the top,
and Trump was happy about it.
Oh yeah, because you know why. You know why. I don't need to tell you why. That cheapens the price for the rich people, y'all. I think that they've underestimated as adults in this situation our ability to be angry and fucking raging about the Epstein files, Minneapolis, Keith Porter, Don Lemon, Georgia Ford. The same way I've got capacity for love, I've got capacity for rage. And that's how I'll say how I'm reacting. Yeah, I get tired, I get overwhelmed, I have to cry sometimes. And I think that's healthy. But I think they've underestimated the way in which this is impacting some of us that are like, oh no, I can get to school on time by a bike. I've got a key around my neck. I know what I'm making for my brother for dinner. Like, don't come at me with I can't handle more than one thing.
I just drank water from a hose.
Right?
Like I'm built for tough. You know what I mean? But this is also important. One of the reasons I hate that I deleted my Twitter account is because I lost all the archives in 2017 when I said this. I said, you guys, a Fed coin is coming. Mm-hmm. I said it then because that was when Bitcoin started to explode. Yeah, I made a lot of money off it. I'm not even gonna lie. I had gotten a Bitcoin when it was like $1,200, and I sold it when it was like $60,000. That's part of why I was able to buy my house, right? Yeah. I knew that, but I was trying to tell people to get on early anyway, because at the time Bitcoin was just chilling, wasn't really doing much of anything.
Well, early on anything is the time to get in.
Yeah, I was telling everybody. I was like,
everything's a multi-level media.
Exactly. I was telling people, even if you just get you a little piece of something, I said, this is about to explode. People ain't want to listen to me. Some people did, but not everybody want to listen to me. I said, but here's what's next, y'all. They're going to try to devalue the US dollar so that they can implement a Fed coin. And if we've been paying attention to Donald Trump, first it was his NFTs, which everybody knows is nothing, but he has been pushing crypto. He has talked many times about the United States leading the world in crypto. So he's been pushing us towards that and making that, plain that they want crypto to be the federal currency. Why? Because he is purchased and owned by all these technocrats, right? So yes, that's what's happening. So the US dollar losing value will only justify him saying this. Now he just opened up the Trump accounts, which is pure fascism.
Don't get me started on
this. This is pure. We're not even gonna go there, but it is pure fascism. Okay, there's absolutely no way a president of the United States uses a .gov website to push a private business, Trump accounts. He's selling citizenship for $1 million and giving people a card. They're saying that Nicki Minaj just bought one.
Oh yeah,
even though she almost had to sell her house to settle a $500,000 settlement she had. But okay, you got $1 million to buy citizenship. We're seeing all of these things happening, and I'm just sitting here like,
I just sent you a video.
Hakeem Jeffries gonna tweet.
I just sent you a video. So this was shared late yesterday. It's a clip of Trump essentially giving his final graces to.
I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't? I texted it to you, didn't I? Hold on.
No, all I got is Farmer Joe.
Okay,
they absolutely want to push that, and so we see that's happening. I wanna. Oh, you picked a bad night to be outside. We'll go inside then. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this. Hold on. Yeah. Let me share this with you all. Let's share the screen. Let's do it. Let's see what he's saying.
The backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade. using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
Okay. I knew you were going to be saying it because I called it back in 2017. I said that we are moving towards a Fed coin, and that's what they're going to push on us. I thought it was going to happen back then, but COVID happened. Everything that I said I thought was going to happen the first term probably would have happened if it wasn't for COVID.
Yeah,
right?
COVID was hugely disruptive.
COVID saved us. I should say staved off a lot of that.
All it did was delay the inevitable, but yes.
Yeah, a million people had to die, but that's I'm saying that sardonically, y'all. I'm not making light of all the people that we lost to COVID because we should have never lost those people. But we had a president in charge who was a complete numbskull. So that really delayed everything. But that Fed coin, that's the goal. Why? Yeah. Because crypto is easy to manipulate.
Very.
And he's already made billions of dollars. Him and his family have already made billions of dollars, and it's only been a year. Okay. So the grift is just gonna continue. But I want to shift gears a bit. Last couple of times we were talking about Alex Preddy, and just want to share this. So people were protesting, and the Justice Department said it would conduct a civil rights investigation into the death of Alex Preddy. Hold on. Wait, here we go. Sorry. Okay. People were doing who streets, our streets, okay, all this stuff. Okay. Hold on. What is all of this? This is not the thing. What's looking for? Oh gosh, why is this not happening? Okay, here we go. That's fine. Here, it's right here. Duh, stupid. Okay, so they opened the civil rights inquiry, and they said that the announcement marked a significant reversal in the department's approach to his killing at first. That's a picture of the memorial. They opened a civil rights investigation into the shooting of Alex Preddy, the intensive care nurse who was killed in Minneapolis last weekend by federal immigration agents. Todd Blanche, the deputy attorney general, said on Friday. The announcement marked a significant reversal in the department's approach to Mr. Preddy's killing, suggesting that after a week of lacerating criticism, it had decided to handle the high-profile incident in a manner more keeping with how investigators have traditionally dealt with fatal shootings by law enforcement officers. They already had a blueprint. They already had a guideline, and yet they've been completely,
This is like so bad. So first and foremost, this is a performance, right? They've opened a civil rights investigation as an appeasement to white people to say, look, we get it. You're upset. A white man got shot, and we're not going to ignore this. But the same fucking people just arrested Don Lemon last night. So what the fuck are you even saying right now? That you're... I cannot. So this is where my brain fails to reconcile and almost goes into overdrive, because in what world can someone say, yeah, we're interested in justice and we want to find out what happened? And last night they charged 4 Black people with basically, civil rights violations for being present near a church while others protest that.
As much as Black people love the church.
I think everybody on this call and everybody who has hope that this investigation will land anywhere, please don't expect this to land anywhere positive where there's any justice or whatever you want to call that.
We have to point out, as a resident pussy eater, that they did not do this for Renee Good, right? Because one, they hate white women.
Yes.
The only purpose a white woman serves is to incubate white male babies.
That's right.
Outside of that, white women are completely useless to them. Okay, they prefer each other. Let's go back to the Greeks and Romans. They prefer each other as lovers, but they need women to continue on. Okay, that's white men. But anyway,
it's fucking lunatic. Dude,
she's a woman. She's a woman, but also she's queer, and also her wife is a butch. And also her wife looked like she could beat their ass.
That's right. She absolutely did. And you could almost tell, like, her wife had so much confidence walking up in. She was like, I'm so zero.
Looking more manly than them. Okay.
Yeah,
she was full dyke on bike. I loved it. I was like, you better
that's the energy we all need to have. Like
that was a Subaru driving lesbian couple if I ever saw one.
Absolutely. With the dog.
And they knew it. And they knew it. And the violence against WLW, women who love women, is so rampant. And that's another layer of this. They can't open up a damn civil rights violation because they got to get for femicide. They got to do the anti-queer hate.
We can't even say the word femicide. We don't even say the word femicide in this country.
And we need to, because femicide is real, right? And I mean, we talk about it in other countries that we want to deem as savage and third world and whatever.
Yeah.
But femicide is real in this country. Every day, at least 3 women are killed by their intimate partners. Okay. We have to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And that number is only going to increase. The more we lean into fascism, the more we're going to see women getting killed.
That's right.
Because these men can't handle it. Women are going to say, I don't want to have children, and they're going to be killed.
That's right. Or I don't want to have children with you, and they're going to be killed, which is the alternative.
I don't want to have sex with you. I don't have sex with you.
That, or they left and went on to another male, and so now all 3 of us have to go. Like we all
that's the biggest, that's the most vulnerable time of one. Well, 2 vulnerable times of risking death. One, when she leaves the man,
and when she's pregnant,
and when she's pregnant, right? Yeah. And what does that say about masculinity? That a woman is most unsafe when she is pregnant with a man's child, or when she is leaving a man. Those are the times where she risks death.
Yeah.
That's the country we live in. That's the world we live in. Right.
And to me, that's the barometer of, like, I mean, I know we talk about how we treat children always being a barometer, but how the children get here, if they don't get here in a healthy way, right? And we don't have to go into epigenetics and all of that stuff tonight, but like, we're not raising children in a healthy environment. We're raising children who are overwhelmed, overstimulated, in a world that we didn't grow, we thought we were going to give our kids a better place.
Yeah.
And I go to bed every night thinking, what the fuck? How did I have children when we're going backwards? That's where I lean every night, is like, I would never become a mom if my girls and my son were not going to have the same rights or better. I mean, I surely thought they'd get better.
Listen, somebody said it was a little too DEI for the narrative, right? So, and they keep maintaining this idea that she was trying to run him over. We all saw the video. She was turning her car away. We all know what we saw with our own eyes.
Right.
So we talk about gaslighting. They want us to lose our minds. They want us to continue to spin and just keep fighting. She was doing it. Shut up.
Yeah.
Nothing that we say is going to change how they think about this or how they approach this. So why are we even like arguing and sputtering? Like, we really need to be back. Like, that's really where it's at this point. I understand that the majority of the people are not willing to take that stance, but I am. And I'm just like, please, whatever. So we're going to shift gears. Friends, I'm here and I'm going to join in on this, but I've asked Kathy to kind of a little bit take the lead on this Epstein thing. Now I'm going to show the stuff.
You'll show and share the screen,
and you'll kick us off.
Yeah.
But listen, we got to talk about the Epstein files, because the whole point was for them to get us to forget or to be distracted from the fact that millions of damn files were released. What happened with the files? Didn't they get erased or something? What'd you say? No, because we got some. I'm actually going to show right now.
The good news is that plenty of people had the foresight enough to immediately start to download and screenshot, right? So there's been a ton of information preserved from the initial drop, where many of our friends online were saying, holy shit, I just went to search again, and this document and this picture and this file, it's not there. But we have, luckily, a lot of really smart people who went online. So,
and there's some stuff that was there. I was able to kind of dig through a little bit. I was in the movies. I shouldn't have been doing this while I was in the movies, but I was preparing for the show. You see how I'm committed to this show, guys? I'm committed to giving you the information. I was in the movies and I was digging through, and I was still able to find a few links that contain some information, but not everything, right? And so what we're looking at here, y'all, is it's an intake from July 9th of 2020. All right, we're in 2026. It's about Jeffrey Epstein child sex trafficking. This was at 8:03. Somebody submitted an online tip to FBI National Threat Operations or what have you. Threat to life. No, it's false. And the text: Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger, rating the children on tightness. The guests were elder men and Elon Musk. Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump raped me. And they categorized the violation as public corruption, white-collar crime, and civil rights. Where's the sexual assault?
Well, if you look at violation questions, the first question what was the exact crime that occurred? Raping children. But it's the almost the only. That's the only, other than the report, where I see any callback to the actual rape.
And they said, do you have any evidence to support your claim? Ghislaine Maxwell, Ivanka Trump.
Those are witnesses. She's saying that we're witnesses. Are you suffering?
The daughter in the room. Yeah. PTSD. How long has this been going? 20 years plus.
Look at the additional info as you go to the bottom.
Please do something. Most of the girls have now committed suicide or were murdered. Miss Maxwell introduced us against our will. Oh my God.
Everyone catching that date, 2020.
This is from 2020.
This was the president in July of 2020.
Oh my gosh. Info, other women shared their experiences. Women from Miss Teen USA said Trump raped them also. How contact is known. This is about Ghislaine. She brought us from a van in Mexico. She told us we were going to foster care in America.
Look,
I didn't see
now
that.
you need to take a pause, right? That's a lot. That now to me wraps up into where we are with ICE deportations right now. And I have a lot of thoughts, obviously, about this whole situation. So you breathe for a second while I ramble.
No, you talk. Oh, wow.
Obviously, this content is extremely, extremely hard to consume and process. So if you need to take a break, this is taped. You can come back and listen. I actually can't go through all of it in real time. It's too much for me as a survivor of rape. But when I read through and I understand the systems and processes that allowed this to happen, obviously our hearts are breaking. But when you think about the systems themselves, and we remove the perpetrators and the victims, and the systems that allow this to happen are the same systems that founded this country. Our country was founded on the enslavement of other people, the stolen labor, the stolen lives of Indigenous, Black and Brown people from the dawn of the Constitution and prior. We all know this. This is historical fact. This is not to be negotiated. However, when you have a country that begins to evolve and human nature, you have the industrial revolution, and things begin to get easier for human beings physically, that allows space for human beings to have more space emotionally and mentally. And you stop having children just to keep the farm up, right? Because now, we could buy a plow, or we could, get a tractor, or all these other things that we can do. And everyone understands, right? White people do not have children for family. I don't know a white culture.
Italians.
I'm not an anthropologist, but what I'm saying to you is white people here in America have historically had children, one, to help around the farm, the homestead, the animals, that whatever, and to raise their younger children. Right. And also under the guise of religious psychosis that somehow they need to keep having babies to serve God's will. There's a lot baked into that. And there are plenty of extremes that go into that. Okay, you get into the civil rights era and you get into the place where college becomes a place where young people can exchange ideas more freely. And it becomes more common now to even have women. And then you have integration and all of these things start to happen. Slavery ends, right? where does that labor go? Where does that anger? Where does that rage go? Because we've all been abusive in an abusive relationship, right? If you've ever had an abusive relationship and you didn't know, you do now with your government. Okay. So if you have thought you didn't have one, you do now. That anger and rage does not end. That perpetrator, it keeps going. And so as a historical fact, that shifted into white women and children. White women, while gaining our independence, so to speak, in the 70s, our penalty for getting that independence for 20 years was that, we had no voice, right? We were trying to build a voice. We have no credibility. All these white men in power are creating narratives that women gossip, don't trust other women. These things all occur from a very intentional place.
And the uptick in the sexual assault of your children.
Correct.
Okay. Like from the 70s on, first of all, we had all the serial killers and stuff like that. That was
the serial killers, and then we had the missing children. And this
had the missing children.
This is where
Gen X.
This is all where it comes to me. Where I've been saying to Aaron on the couch every time, like, these milk carton kids
of Gen X. Absolutely, it's all related to this.
Because when you look at the timing, and you guys hopefully know by now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I ground my ideas in historical fact, patterns of behavior, and what I know as factual today to be true, right? I don't have to, my tinfoil hat, but I'll have to get
I'm going to wear it for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
But what I cannot deny is what I know to be true about human behavior. And all of that labor, all of that rage, all of that anger, all of that supremacy for the white man had to continue. And yes, they can continue to be racist. And yes, they can continue to lynch people. And yes, they can continue to use the N-word. But it's not as easy as it was. So who else can I pick on that no one's going to give a fuck? And that's why Gen X grew up with what happens inside the house doesn't go outside of the house. None of my friends and I wish, God, there's so much healing that could have been done. The way I grew up was I was isolated and insulated. And what happened to me stayed in the house, but the problem was the house didn't give a fuck. So, some houses were better than others. But the point I'm saying is we were trained not to share, not to talk about personal things. Okay, now we're in the space where, you put the wrong thing in Threads with the wrong comment, we're done with you, right? Mm-hmm. So who is easier? My kids. Well, we all know we've spent years of children not being believed. Decades of children being silenced. I'm a generation that was better seen than heard. And I still have
children are to be seen and not heard. Mm-hmm.
There's pain there.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pain there. So it's really, but what it did was it created this angry stoicism. It's kind of like, bring it on, man. I'm good where I am.
Let me add something to this. So, I got to give the Negro perspective, right? So,
that's a good point. Someone put up, we didn't share those things because we didn't have the conduits yet. We had the conduits.
That's also part of it.
We had adults, but our adults were abusing the children, the priests, the teachers. Where do you go?
We came at a time where women just got their rights in their place. So what did we couldn't have expected them to do but so much because they just got it. It was precarious. It's like, I don't want to have them take this away because now I'm getting all extreme. Now the middle class and upper middle class privileged white women could do whatever they pretty much wanted and not face, many consequences. Mm-hmm. They had their daddy's money. They had, these other opportunities. They had achieved education and things that. But what you were talking about in terms of how the white man, kind of interacts with his family, Sheikh Anta Diop gave us the two cradle theory, right? Mm-hmm. Where he talks about how life originated in Africa and some people migrated north to the northern cradle. And that's what we call Europeans today. And in that migration, because of the adjustment to the weather. Now, we all have heard anthropologists and others talk about how facial features and physical features are largely related to the climate, right?
Mhm.
So like Asian folks have heavy eyelids to adjust to the heavy winds in the Mongolian mountains and things like that. Latinos and indigenous folks over there tend to be shorter because they are harvest people. They harvest to the ground. Black people have kinky hair because of the sun. All those things like that. We know that, right? So the people that moved to the Northern Cradle were facing harsh weather conditions that our people had never had to deal with for thousands of years, right? And so those migrant people, right? Some people became liabilities in their efforts to move. The smaller humans became liabilities.
That's
the
right.
smaller humans tended to be the female humans, right? And the children. And so this is why we say, as an Afrocentric scholar, patriarchy and sexism predates racism, right?
Absolutely.
Because the first people that the white male oppressed was the white female and the white child, right? Because they were seen as liabilities.
Right.
I'll take care of you. You can't survive this harsh
You
winter.
can't fish. You can't carry.
You can't do shit like you, whatever.
Pirate ship.
And that's how they established the hierarchy that put men at the top, and they needed to maintain that. All right. So and guys, I'm not talking like Greco-Roman times. I'm talking about way before that, right? And so that's how so patriarchy began during that migratory process that was happening there, right? So if we look at it, they have never changed that. They still see white women and white children as liabilities, but under a capitalist system, they are laborers and they serve purposes. Either they have like functional laborer purposes, but they also have domestic labor purposes, right? Housewife's supposed to be at home taking care of the home, right? Or she's contributing money and whatever to society. The kids immediately from the farmers to the industry people.
That's right.
You are supposed to be a part of that. And so capitalism has assigned each of us value.
That's right.
And our value is about contribution. Now, through racism, they have decided that certain people are supposed to work. Indigenous people, which is who we're talking. Okay, so I hate when people say like Hispanic and like those are not races. Those are not races of people. Okay, they're indigenous. They're largely indigenous. Now we have mixtures of indigenous and African and you know, European. But before all of that happened, remember this is kind of modern, thousands of years. These are indigenous people. They decided that they needed to work. They decided the Africans needed to work. They decided the Asians needed to work. Like that's what they decided. So what does the white woman, what purpose does she serve? If you're a wealthy white man and you want to prove your wealth, you buy people.
That's right.
You don't put your woman to work. In fact, you putting your woman to work makes you look bad as a man.
That's right. That's right.
Right? But you ain't supposed to love her because she's an asset. Right? The white woman, the mistress of the plantation, was just as much an asset as the strongest buck on the field.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And we have to like every time I talk about this, I'm like, y'all don't know. There's nobody the white man hates more than the white woman.
It's so obvious to me.
And the children, and that's
children.
Right. And I posted a thread not long before we got on here where I was like, white men, in order to maintain their dominance, will weaponize rape. This is why white men rape their women and children as much as they do. This is like systematic oppression.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking thousands of years of this, hundreds of modern time, hundreds of years of them silencing and suppressing white women and children through sexual violence primarily.
That's right.
So when we talk about them being savages, this is what the hell I'm talking about.
This is the savage part of
this is the savage part. Because you got to be a savage when you decide you're going to buy other people and buy them for the purposes of sexual slavery.
Right. Exactly. And I just, the visual, you know, we've all seen, you know, maybe you haven't, you know, what is there, like 20 movies in modern times about enslavement of the Black people here in this country. There's not a lot of modern times movies, but even if you've just seen 12 Years a Slave, right? Even if that's the only movie you've seen the auction process or the showing process of other human beings. And, you know, we've got our women standing there naked, you know, holding maybe something, a basket, maybe just standing there. We've got the men, and we've got these white people dressed in their best, fanciest, you know, dress for the day, meandering around, having a cocktail, listening to the violin, all the while touching and asking and procuring action from human beings in such a way. That is what we have with the Epstein files today.
Yes. Yes.
This calendar girl situation is 100% the exact same system, the exact same execution, and the exact same motivation, which is to exert power, to maintain control, and to
flaunt wealth.
And to hoard wealth, really, to
hoard and to flaunt it. Again, they're always trying to. They're peacocking.
Because when you can buy everything, when there's nothing left to buy,
right?
What? Think about
what do you
it.
have left? Yeah,
there's nothing left to buy.
There's nothing left for Elon Musk to buy in this world.
Especially when you're empty and
he wants to buy a planet. That's like his next goal is to buy Mars.
He's so fucking delusional. I'm waiting for the cable to take him through.
But listen, let me just make a quick connection because I hear you. I hear what you're saying about the triggering, and I, as a survivor of childhood sexual assault, I understand you. This is just one connection I want to make, y'all, because the reason why I was making that face earlier is because I just made this connection myself. So one of the files, and I'm gonna share this with you. You said what?
Tiffany makes me laugh.
Oh, Tiffany's funny. So you may have seen some copies of things like this online, and I just want you all to see this. Okay, so this is a list of complainant summaries. And it says, are you able to send me the full report? We have an interview regarding the Alexander brothers allegations.
Can you scroll up real quick? This is dated. If you go up, that's dated
August 7th of 2025.
This is like 5 months ago, just for everyone's context.
Yeah, importance is normal, by the way. But here's why, because you guys are going to see the connection why. You guys may not know who the Alexander brothers are, but you're going to learn right now. So here's one. At age 16, while modeling, the caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, the caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured the caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated that Orrin raped her best friend and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old named Blank. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. One online complainant reported that she was a victim and witness to sex trafficking ring at Trump Golf Course in Ranchos Palos Verdes, California, between 95 and 96. Reported that Ghislaine Maxwell, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And they're talking about the orgies and girls gone missing. These names here, right? Epstein's New York resident, right? Okay. Are you all paying attention? I want you to hold on to this. This is from New York. Okay. Woman who accused high-profile twins of sexual assault found dead in Australia. Okay, you guys may not have, this is from January 16th, 2026, before these files come out. You guys may not have known that Orrin and Alan Alexander are on trial right now. That's why this was sent.
No.
Yes, this was sent in August. So it's the U.S. versus Orrin Alexander, and Tal Alexander.
All 3 of them.
Chat, I'm going to go back to this. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured the caller. Older brother, Tal, 16, 14. We're going back to this, okay? Okay, these are the 3 of them, okay? The first woman to publicly accuse them of sexual assault was found dead in Australia late last year. According to new reports, Kate Whitman sued the men in March 2024, alleging they sexually assaulted her in the state of New York in 2012. Wow. Months later, they were arrested alongside their other brother, charged with sex trafficking offenses.
Yes.
An investigation into the death of Whitman, 45, by New South Wales coroner has concluded they deny wrongdoing and have pleaded not guilty to the criminal charges. Chat, we do not know if this person here is this Kate Whitman. It could be another one, but it could also be her, because Kate alleged that she was assaulted in New York with their other brother there. Like, come on, y'all. Like, so while they're, you know, cutting out names and stuff like that, we have, it could be the same person, it could not. So here's the thing. The reason why I'm pointing this out, my Octoroon friend, is because, yes, they put these things in there like, well, none of these things have been substantiated or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you all need to know that these men are currently on trial for this. So they don't put men on trial for rape without significant evidence. We all know.
Yeah, we all know how hard it is to even get a report. We know
how hard it is. Listen, the burden of proof for rape is always on the women. Here we go. A day after Whitman made her accusations, a second woman, Rebecca Mandel, also brought a lawsuit against them, alleging the pair drugged and assaulted her at a party in 2010. A series of other women came forward with accusations of sexual assault against all three brothers. Many claimed that they were drugged. They said at least 17 women have filed lawsuits against them in New York, Miami, Manhattan, and even Moscow. They have denied this. Chat. These are serial, like they're serial rapists, allegedly. These are accusations. So the reason why I'm pointing that out is because they are also mentioned in this particular case, suggesting that they were at this party that was at least one party hosted by Epstein where Trump was there. So this lends some credibility to what's in these Epstein files. That's why, you know, when we talk about, like, again, I'm the researcher. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect these dots. I'm always going to look at these things. This is what we do professionally. We connect these dots for you to give you like, that could be connected, or this validates this because X plus Y equals whatever. So you can't look at this. And this woman took her own life, just like Virginia Giuffre. Y'all, shit is getting real. Okay? And they seem to be serial rapists, were cavorting with Epstein and participating in the sexual assault of these teens allegedly at parties that were designed for this. Y'all, and I don't care if Slick Willie is in there. I never liked him anyway. So we talk about everybody. This ain't no partisanship. Y'all know on my show, I ain't with that Democrat, Republican nonsense anyway, because they're all criminals. But you see what I'm saying? And and I understand this is heavy for y'all. I understand that, y'all. Listen, it's a lot. But we're trying to hold space for these victims. We're trying to validate, what's going on with these victims. And so you all, like, I haven't seen anybody else making these connections today. But the reason why I noticed, because I follow these kinds of trials. Right. So when I was looking through this, I hadn't scrolled through. When I saw their names, I said, wait a minute.
Yeah, they're very strange. Like Oren stands out. Right?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. These two are on trial for rape right now.
Jesus, fuck.
And that's been suppressed in the media.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly.
The media, this is from BBC. Y'all know I don't trust American media.
No.
This is from BBC.
And let's not forget that the British have actually shown some action, towards Prince Andrew. And, they're not, look, the primary colonizer, I'm not giving them any props. What I'm saying is they're so bad and they're still, like, Great Britain is the worst when it comes to taking accountability and actions for their misgivings and wrongdoings. I think we can all agree on that. But the fact that they called this out, the fact that they removed Prince Andrew, to me, is exactly the evidence. That to me is all we've ever needed. Because Great Britain doesn't apologize for shit. They don't say we were wrong. They don't say this person did something wrong. They quietly make it go away. In my 50 years so far. This is a lot. Yeah. I mean, the idea.
Here's the thing. When you were talking about the auction block thing, I've been saying this to people for over a decade now. I have been telling people, do y'all know that they sell children, women and children in underground auctions? I was not making this up. Yeah. I've come across cases where I have seen this on these dark webs, on these message boards. They set up these goddamn auctions where people can come together and buy other people. This has never stopped. Think about the Emancipation Proclamation. All they, like when you were talking about later, where do they put their anger? They've been putting it in slavery. Slavery never ended.
Exactly.
The reason why they just changed it, and the reason why it's not in the news every single day is because all these people are involved in it.
Right.
All the way up to the top.
All the way. This is a global thing. And I think the best way
it's a global thing
to really codify what you're saying is, you know, we've all recognized what's going on in different times and spaces. And some of us have seen these patterns and have seen these things being played out slower, but in a more, we seek it out. We're not, if it's not, this is not the kind of thing that would be shared. I would have had to seek that out. I didn't know, and I'm pretty good about knowing about some of these connections. And had I not known that tonight, I would never have heard Kate Whitelaw's name. And when I think about media and I think about entertainment, we're very quick to believe a storyline on Law and Order SVU or The Wire or the a million CSIs that exist now, where somebody finds a trailer full of women and children, or they break open a room and there's like 50 women and children who are, you know, being caged or whatever.
They're not making this up.
They don't. They have no. They're not that clever.
This is real. They're
not
that
clever.
That's why I say about these like espionage films. It's like this is stuff that really happens. This
art imitates life.
Like
art imitates life.
And again, one, it's because it's women and children. And again, white men don't care about women and children. But also, it's because they are benefiting from this. As I keep telling people, and I know that they get tired of me saying I'm a broken record. If you want to understand men, look at the porn. Look at what's popular in porn. One of the most popular categories of porn right now is stepdaughter and father-daughter porn. Okay? This is what they fantasize. You white women keep having children for these men, and that's what they want.
Yeah, they want to sleep with
some
children.
of them are good. Some of them are decent guys. I'm not going to say that. But this is why I tell women, do not date a man while your daughter can't fight. Are you kidding me? How dare you bring men around your daughters? Are y'all crazy? Like, I'm sorry, that's across the board. Absolutely not. I happen to have a son, and even I was just like, nah, you ain't coming around my kid. Not until he's old enough to beat your ass.
That's right.
And women keep doing it, right? Part because society pressures them that being a single mom, you need to find somebody to take care of you. Right. But all the studies show that the worst outcomes come from households where there is a stepfather present. And I don't care if you had a good stepfather. That's great.
You're the
exception. You are the exception.
That's right.
Because the studies and the data and the research all show that the worst outcomes are from households with stepfathers, especially if the children are girls.
Right. That's right.
There's something wrong with these men.
Yeah.
And y'all, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but if you are a single mom and you got a 7-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter, do not bring no men around her, because so many of these men will date you because you have a 7 and 8-year-old daughter.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Out single moms, and I know we don't. I gotta let you. I gotta talk to you about this.
Yeah,
they seek you out because of those children.
Yeah,
that's who they really want. They don't want you. And we always talk about, you know, mom and oldest doing us. Fuck all of that. That is patriarchy creating that dynamic where a mother becomes jealous of her daughter because of how the man is. That is fucking patriarchy. That is this nasty misogyny. This is their preference, their pedophilic preferences.
That's right. And
do not bring these men around your kids.
Do not. I mean, and look, Woody Allen is the best prime example that we've all known about. I literally, I don't know how old I was.
Walk around,
but I was this high maybe the first time I saw a National Enquirer or Star that kept having Mia Farrow and Woody Allen, and I'm going, Mom, what's going on with these? You know, my mom, very, very fucking angry. You know, he raped her daughter, and I was like, whoa, what is rape? You know, I'm like 6 in the giant cashier's line, and I'm like, whoa, Mom. You know, but that's how I learned about this thing, was by Woody Allen and Mia Farrow.
No, they're just disgusting.
And he's all over the files. He's all over the files.
He's all over them.
Having dinners, going to award shows.
This is who they are. I was rubbing one off yesterday and I scroll. I'm like, why are you showing me family as a category? I want big booty bitches. I do not want family or stepdaughter or any of this nasty shit. But this is what's popular. You look at it, it'll say 38,000 videos. Like, it's a fucking sickness. They're savages. So if that's what the porn is saying, if they have a telegram with 70,000 men on it talking about how they can assault their wives and their daughters and offering permission and things like that, well, we got judges that are trying to set up so that they could assault babies. When we have police officers that are found as part of rings, and when they pop these rings that'll have 90 or 100 people, it's rabbis, nurses, coaches, politicians, police officers, judges, all these people involved. At what point do we wake up and see that the boogeyman is everywhere?
He's everywhere.
That's the problem.
He's closest to you in your home. I'm sending you a link real quick because just on this topic, there's a story that came out recently, and oh, that's not the one. God damn it. This is about a husband. This was a story that broke this week that was drugging his wife, posting it to Reddit, and asking other men to come to his home so that he could film them raping her while she was
just like the French guy.
That's right. That's right.
And there was two French cases. There was another guy out there that was doing it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
so this one happened. It dropped, I think, on Tuesday. This was local to the Arizona, Maricopa County area, from what I can tell here.
He learned it from the French guy.
Yeah, this is a 38-year-old husband who has not, for whatever reason, he hasn't been identified. I'm assuming to protect his wife at this point. That's
Evan Torres.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Evan Torres.
No. This guy says Evan Torres was allegedly solicited to rape a woman by her husband.
He's one of the guys who showed up.
He's one of the guys. Of course, they're going to do Evan Torres. They're going to put the Hispanic guy, right? The Latino guy, right?
Because there were no white guys who answered that Reddit, right?
Right.
So this is the kind of normalized.
It's become normalized, like absolutely.
It's a breakdown in societal contracts, right? Where not only has he broken the contract with his wife.
Well, they put his job in there too.
But who are these men? These men, there are men answering this and happy to sleep with an unconscious.
Oh, this is something I haven't shared with folks before. I'll tell you what happened to me in college. It's how I made a friend, actually. So apparently, a guy that I was chatting with on Black Planet wanted to meet me, and I didn't want to meet him. I let him down, respectfully. I was like, well, I'm not really interested in dating you. Because at the time I was dealing with 6 dudes. I was polysaturated. But anyway, I told him I wasn't interested. Okay. I got a phone call one day from a man who was like, can I speak to Michelle? And I was like, this is Michelle speaking. Back when we had phones and voicemail, right? I was like, this is Michelle, who's this? He was like, you don't know me. He was like, but I just saw an advertisement that said you were looking for a gangbang and that you were at the University of Pennsylvania. And I was like, what? And he's like, and it had your phone number. And he said, but something about this just didn't seem right to me. And I was like, what? He was like, I don't know I think somebody's setting you up. Because I had been getting a lot of random phone calls and I didn't know what it was from. Because people would hang up or, my voicemail was full all the time. Huh?
Was it an ex? Somebody did that? Posted.
Oh, no, it's a guy that I rejected. A guy that I did not want to meet.
That was my next guess.
Yeah. So he was angry. I guess he was angry enough that I didn't want to meet up with him, that he sought revenge on me, put my full name, my phone number, the school I was going to, all of this stuff, saying that I was looking for a gangbang and that people should call me to connect. That's how they are.
That's horrifying.
And I'm sorry, as somebody who is a survivor of multiple sexual assaults, right? Because again, that's how they are. Yeah. I was just like, why would somebody do this to me? You know, like I just couldn't believe and understand that. But I knew back then, and this was like really my first introduction into just how savage and disgusting men are. And this was a brother, his name was Kevin. And the reason why he called me is because he actually was dating a girl that I actually knew. And he recognized the exchange on the phone number as being in her dorm. So she actually lived 2 floors under me. Yeah. And so like I met him, he and I actually became really good friends for a long time. And then we kind of, we lost touch or whatever. Right. So, but he was just like, something about this didn't seem right.
Right.
And so, and this is before the, you know, the internet is, you know, anything. So, you know, we were on the message boards, but, you know, it wasn't anything like that. And so, you know, he was looking out for me, but like, I knew from then, that was the first moment when I realized, yo, these men are absolutely horrible and cannot be trusted. And I spent the rest of my life, okay, we're talking like 25, 27 years later, I do not trust them at all. And they have to like, they have to prove themselves trustworthy to me. There's a lot of proving that has to happen because I'm going to assume that is your default. And I don't care actually when men get upset about that, because I know what men are capable of, and I know what they do. I know what they do to their mothers, their sisters, their children, the people they claim they love. So I damn sure know what they do to people they don't know and don't care about.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I look at a story like this, and then we look at all the ones that have come out, you know, like I said, the French guy and all that stuff like that, these are just single instances that are indicative of a more widespread problem. And that's why the Epstein files, to me, let me tell you, let me just get this out. The reason the Epstein files are rattling people so much is because it does involve high-powered white people. It's part of politics and things like that. Because even when Jeffrey Epstein got popped, we weren't really focused on it this much. People were not doing this kind of investigative stuff, not in the large scale that they are now. But when folks like me, who like, you know, I have Black Girl Missing, like this trafficking thing it's a passionate thing for me. It's something that like, I just, again, I've had my own experiences with things. And so I'm passionate about it. When I'm sitting here at the goddamn town crier telling y'all they are selling women and children at auctions. Okay. This is what they do. And people are like, nah, you know why we don't want to do that? Because we don't want to live in a world like that. We don't want to consciously live in a world where everybody around us has a good chance of participating in this kind of thing. And it's so sick because what do you do?
Right. What do you
send
do
your
with
kids anywhere? What do you do with that? Your kids can't play any sports because all the goddamn coaches could be. Where do predators go? They go to find their prey. They get jobs.
They go where children are.
Did you hear about that Black school counselor that just killed himself because the day they issued the warrant for his arrest, 4 counts of inappropriate action, and he killed himself? Yeah. Damn school counselor.
Yeah.
And people want to like, they want to sanitize it a little bit. Well, why do you want to talk to these girls? And you know, you can't just do your job. He's got the job so he could do that.
That's right. That's right. That's
what y'all need to be thinking about. Don't think about, because you're still making it the girls' fault. He didn't get caught up with nothing. It ain't about the girls looking grown. He sought that job out. He went into education. He went into counseling as an adult. Because he could have done counseling for adults. He went after kids.
That's right.
These teachers that we find, and again, this is regardless of gender, like, because you know the women, they do it too, but not on any way the scale that the men do. And I'm not trying to minimize that because I think it's
it's there. It's definitely there.
It's definitely there.
Equal judgment. It deserves equal scrutiny. It's just it's not as common, right?
It's not as common, right? And I hate when people do that. Like, y'all never talk about the women. Because it's like 1 out of 10 are the women. We focused on these 9 over here that are the men.
We are prioritizing. We're not trying to exclude. That's what we're talking
about. Exactly. And so when you, like, who wants to bring a child into a world where you send them to school for 8 hours and they are encountering all these different people, any of them could be predators.
That's right.
The principal, the school nurse, the counselor, their teacher, their coach, the music teacher that you want to give private lessons to. You find out 20 years later, the person the person that was teaching your kid to play the piano was also molesting them. What?
Yeah. I mean, I've got, and I'm 30 years now removed from that whole situation in high school. But since I've graduated, at least 5 teachers that I had direct and that's low, 7 teachers or coaches that I had direct interaction with as we'll call it middle to high school, so ages 11 to 17, have since been charged with rape, sexual assault, or mostly CSAM, right? Child sex abuse material on their computers. That's been found out a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. And the digital age is what brought that on. The digital age has enabled all of this. All of the, and we can talk about
much easier.
The AI and the creation of these. I mean, look, the time will come. This is not sustainable. And I keep telling people that I talk to, and maybe I'm telling myself that at some point, every bit of this stress has to fracture. There's no place else for the energy to go. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I'm not confident in justice because there's not enough data to support that will ever, there's never been a time, right? We ended slavery. Well, I guess we ended it on paper, but we all know now it never really ended. So we gave women independence. Well, did we really? If we can't have a job and raise children because it's cost prohibitive and it's not safe to send them anywhere. And so
and that's where reproductive justice comes in. It's like reproductive justice is not just it's about making sure that women can bring children into safe environments and have the support they need to become mothers when they choose to.
That's right.
You know?
And so you have this juxtaposition of freedom with passive constraint. And that passive constraint is all those things that we talk about, whether it's the reproductive freedoms or the affordability of childcare, the accessibility of healthcare, school choice, all of those things. And it doesn't exist on purpose. It's meant to, and the narrative is so loud, it's almost telling you, look, don't do this if you're going to be single woman, because look at all of the penalties that will be assessed upon you. This is what happens. You know, I've been married a couple of times. Each time, or when you're married and you have kids and it's amicable and you're going to a shared custody situation, man, what happened when the 50% days when this house was empty was like a utopia, right? And I'm wondering, God, how are they handling it over there? Because I was fucking handling a lot of this shit, and it's proven now that men obviously are more impacted by the shared custody situation because they're having to pick up work they've never done. Never.
Oh yeah, that's why they go and get other women. That's why I tell women all the time, stop dating these men that have these custody arrangements, things like that. No, they want you to come and raise their kids for them and take care of their kids. If you start dating a guy who has kids and he's really quick to have you meet his children, it's because he's looking for somebody to help him take care of the kids because he can't do it himself. My ex-husband's like that. He's on his 3rd wife now. Okay. And he still hasn't figured shit out. And I'm just like, you goddamn deadbeat. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that, like, it's really important. If you have reached a place where you're like, I hate men, there's nothing wrong with that. And don't ever let anybody tell you that there's anything wrong with that, because you have a right to hate all of this. And you're not sitting there saying like, I hate every single man and there are no good men. Now, I have amazing men in my life. One of my oldest, dearest friends is a beautiful man. He just retired from being a pastor. He's like awesome all the way through. So I will never, ever say that all men are terrible. Absolutely not. But I also don't need your not all men response either.
That's right.
When people are saying men are trash and I hate men, this is what we are talking about. We have done the readings. We have had the experiences. We have had the observations. People confide in us. We talk with each other. We have whisper networks. Then you go on social media, and social media really began to expose it because all these people that felt like they were alone or that things were only happening to them got to see women from all around the world sharing the exact same experiences. What does that tell you when so many, and not just women, boys and men too, being
that's the other thing.
Men, it's like, what does this tell you about men and masculinity and manhood and all of this shit? What does that tell you? And what does it tell you that when you go back at thousands of years and look at the history of these people, that they were not like that before them goddamn Europeans came?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Them and then the Arab.
I absolutely do.
But it's just like,
yeah, I know. This is a root cause issue, right? It can be traced back, it can be measured, it can be, reported and researched and all of those things. But what we have in most cases with women, at least at my age, or millennial and up, is you're not going to tell me what my lived experience has been. You're not going to. You don't get to sit there across from me and say what has or has not happened to me. And further, you don't get to, as a participant in this conversation, then defend unknown people that you haven't like. You don't get to be a part of my circle if that's how we're going to behave in these situations. The defense of unknown men is by far, I think, the tell. The defense of the unknown man is a projection and a protection mechanism.
You're willing to defend somebody you don't know a goddamn thing about versus this person that you see, hear, smell, breathe, and touch right in front of you.
Telling you,
in pain, telling you what happened. You're going to defend that guy. And I see that happening with Black folks a lot. And I just want to pull up this comment again. I was a high school teacher for many years. Male teachers are not to be trusted near your daughters. That is important. And the reason why I'm pulling this up and I'm addressing this 100%. I don't care what y'all talking about. We need more Black men in education. No, we don't. And let me tell you why. I understand the statistics on how it helps boys and them being able to see Black men as teachers and things like that. But I'm gonna tell you, as somebody who has done work in these schools, first of all, these brothers don't know shit. And I'm just gonna put it out there. I've worked in public schools in Philadelphia, and I've sat in these men's classes. They are teaching bullshit. I'm like, somebody called T'Challa from Black Panthers, labeled him as the antagonist. I was like, don't you mean let me shut up. He meant protagonist, but he said antagonist. And I was like, you stupid fuck. Like, I just was very upset about that. And I had several of those experiences. And these were men who, those slick talking ones that use words incorrectly and just always those types of guys. But Philly likes to boast that they have the highest percentage of Black male educators. And then I'm observing them and how they're interacting with the girls. I'm watching their eyes wander up and down these little girls' bodies. I'm watching these girls walk away. They don't think I'm observing this. I'm a goddamn social worker. Of course I am observing this. And I'm watching you check out this 7th grader's ass. Absolutely not. Get the hell out of the classrooms. I'm sorry. I don't care. And I understand, they like some of the school, they preschool, and they'll hire the gay brothers and stuff like that. A lot of nope. Get them away from the children until men can figure this shit out. Until y'all can stop being men, get the hell away from our children. And if you want to see a change, then you all have to do some deep work, because the truth is, it only takes one to ruin the bunch. And I'm not going to trust you. And I understand you feel a way about not being trusted and you dealing with a lot. Get a therapist and work through it.
That's right.
Because the truth is, you have done nothing, next to nothing, to dismantle this shit.
That's right.
So
it's almost to me like a talk amongst yourselves. Like, be angry, feel
call
mad.
each other out, but you're not going to do that. The ones who do get ostracized from the pack, right? The Lord of the Flies will not allow you to stay there and criticize and chastise them, right? So all the brothers that I know that I'm really close with, they don't have many male friends. They have mostly women in their lives because they've divested of the patriarchy and the bullshit, and they've gotten ostracized. You see how it is on social media? They want to call them a simp every time a man stands up and defends a woman. She ain't gonna give you pussy, bro. She not gonna let you hit it, bro. That's the culture that we are in.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with these Epstein files. Y'all know we went off a little bit. We've been here for a minute. We're about to wrap this up. But even the cover-up of it goes back to the nature of this rape culture that we live in.
Right.
A lot of times we talk about it as a patriarchy, and that's cool or whatever, but I've started calling it the rape culture that we live in, because that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
This is a rape culture inherently, and it takes work to divest and extract yourself from it. And unfortunately, a lot of men are afraid of other men, so they won't speak up because they know they can't beat their asses. If I speak up, this dude is probably going to try to hurt me or kill me, so let me be quiet. And that's why I call them weak. And I was like, that's because y'all are losers and you're weak. You sitting here telling me as a man that you can't stand up to another man and defend like women's honor and defend women and children because you scared he's going to kick your ass? Well, you a bitch then. You a bitch to me. Because I can.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And it's always women that do it. It's always women that do it.
Always women. And the thing that I found, and again, circling back to things like Epstein and Virginia being, able to or feeling powered to speak out, you can't be one of the crowd if you speak out against what the crowd's up to. That's why white people like me can be called a race traitor, right? Like I'm no longer welcome in the white community en masse because I'm not loyal or whatever that bullshit is. And it goes the same way. It goes the same way with these men, right? And ultimately, it all goes back to their fear that if they don't continue to maintain all of this control in these ways, the reverse oppression will take place. Because they can't imagine a world where the reverse system does not treat them the same way. They can't even conceive of it because they're so far down the rabbit hole. One other thing you said was that it's so entrenched in all of our systems that people are afraid to speak out on it.
Yeah.
I would argue it's part of what's holding up our systems.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
If we continue to expose it, it's harder to rebuild what breaks. And that's where
the system crumbles. And this is why I said this is the beginning of the end. The Epstein files thing really is the beginning of the end, because I remember maybe 10, 15 years ago, Time magazine published an article that said there are more people in slavery today than in the history of the world. And I was just like, whoa. And it was this whole expose on like human trafficking and stuff like that. And this was when they were really just starting to really talk about it in this kind of larger thing. And I said, and that hit me, and I was like, whoa, right? I think it's interesting that it's called human trafficking and not slavery.
Yeah.
Right? Because human trafficking makes it a capitalist product, right?
That's right.
Slavery has too many negative comments.
It's emotional.
But
slavery is emotional. Human trafficking,
right?
It's
like drug trafficking. It's a transaction. It's like drug trafficking. So they've decided to change slavery to human trafficking because it's like drug trafficking, and we can distance ourselves from it. I'm going to wrap this up with a quick story.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here. Everybody put a 1 in the chat to celebrate our guest today. Hopefully Jackie will come back in the future and join us and give her wisdom and her insight. And hopefully we won't be talking about this kind of heavy stuff, whatever. So anyway, I was in high school, and my best friend was groomed by her basketball coach, the girls' basketball coach, who was also my favorite English teacher. He was the first black male teacher I ever had. And so smart, and so he cared so much for me.
Yeah.
He did not try that with me though, because my mom was, present. My mom, I was from New York. She was from Texas. Her family never came to the campus. And also she was on the basketball team. She was actually brought there to play basketball.
Oh, so was she on a scholarship or?
Uh-huh. And he started with buying her gifts. I remember it because we were roommates. I remember one time she came back. And she was poor too. She was poor. She's the one who taught me about Salinas. Before, before everybody else got to know her, I knew Salinas y Los Dinos because she was from San Antonio too, right?
Ah, okay.
So I remember one time she came from practice with some new shoes. I was like, oh, did the team get new shoes? And she was like, no, he got these for me. Because, like, I'm poor and, he was like helping me out, blah, blah, blah. I was like, huh. Now, mind you, I'm a teenager, but I'm also brilliant. I was smart back then. I was goddamn genius back then, too. So I was saying to myself, I said, wait a minute. Okay. So then the next time she has clothes. And I said, well, where'd you go this afternoon? She said, I went to the mall. I was like, why you went to the mall without me? She was like, oh, well, he took me to the mall. We wanted to talk about some stuff about the team or whatever. He took me to the mall, got me some new clothes. I said, okay. Mind you, I'm in class with this man. I said, okay. Next thing I know, she's telling me the lights are out. We're laying down in our room, and she's telling me, so I went over his house. His wife was gone, married, by the way, to a white woman.
Jesus Christ.
Who looked like a man with long hair. But that's another thing, whatever. Took her to his house, which is on campus, by the way.
Of course.
On campus. Takes her to his house. And she tells me that he performed oral sex on her. And I said, what? She was like, yeah. And I was like, well, how did you feel about that? She was like, he was okay. Now, I'm giving this context because a lot of times folks like to blame us. When I was 16 years old, I was groomed and preyed on by a 24-year-old who impregnated me. I had my first abortion when I was 16 years old. Okay. At the time, I thought I was grown. I thought I was the shit because he told me that I was different from the other girls. I was more mature than the other girls. I was special. The girls his age, they wanted too much. And all this stuff. He fed all of this stuff to me and ended up being my first and all of that stuff. Ironically, he was a huge R. Kelly fan. Anyway, introduced me to pornography, right? My baby got back 32 or whatever. Yeah. So I have also had my own experience, my own simultaneous experience. And people want to say, oh, well, yeah, I was hanging out with the older boys and you wanted to. We are 16 years old. Frontal lobe is not developed. We are not nobody is thinking like that. You want to blame us and say,
making
you're
the
fast.
Children. Stop
It's
making
like,
children
you
responsible.
Right. And it's like teenagers are going to have sex. That's what happens. You can't deny
with
that.
Other
But
people their own age, maybe, but
yeah,
they're not
with other people their own
adults.
age. Exactly. We're not. And so I had that experience. So when I was talking to her, the thing that rang for me, it wasn't that it was an older guy. It was that it was my English teacher.
Because now how do you face
I was
them?
like, what? A couple of weeks later, she said, we did it. I said, did what? She's like, we had sex. And I remember feeling paralyzed, like emotionally paralyzed. She's like, but you can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody. I'll get kicked out. And I knew that. I knew that she would face the consequences of this.
She would, yes.
And he eventually left. I don't know if he left on his own, but he left the school. He ended up at another school or whatever. I also know him and his wife got divorced. They have a kid, and their kid actually went to my alma mater as well. But anyway, if anybody's, I brought this up to them too at a thing, and I was like, I'm not going to say names because I don't have permission from her to say names, but I'm letting you know that this is what happened while I was here, and and she's not the only one. There was another white coach that was known for doing this with the soccer and lacrosse girls too. But those girls, like, again, making them feel like they were special. He was very attractive. Both of these men were very attractive men.
Oh,
and at the time they were in their late 20s, so they were, so everybody had crush on them, it's like, oh, they're so, whatever. Yeah. But that's what happened. Teenagers develop crushes on their coaches or their teachers and stuff like that. That is not for them to exploit that.
Right.
And I sat with them. I'm telling you, this was high school. over 30 years, I've like not been able to say the names of these people be out of respect for her. And I believe, you know, from last I heard, she was married, several kids, moved on, you know, and did her own thing. But this is the kind of stuff that we had to deal with and we grew up with and weren't supposed to say anything.
That's right.
This is who they are. And I hate to say that. If you are a man and you are not like that, you are different.
Yeah.
You are not the norm.
That's right.
And that is just what it is. And when y'all want to sit there, and I'm gonna say this final thing, when y'all want to sit there, you want to criticize women for how they go about choosing men. A lot of you don't realize how women have been groomed since they were little girls to be subservient to a certain type of man. So they've been groomed and had their self-esteem shattered. That all these things that we have experienced as girls, as teens, so that when we are actually adults and we are seeking love and companionship, all that trauma is informing our decisions. And you want to blame, well, why did you choose him? Because that's the only kind of man I've ever known in my life.
Right.
That's why.
What are the other choices?
What are the other choices? I didn't know that there was any different type of man. My father abused me. My brother abused me. My first boyfriend abused me. My first experience with sex was rape. Like all these things that women go through, girls and women go through. That's why we choose the abuser, because that's the only kind of man we've ever known.
That's right.
We didn't know that men could actually be kind. That's not our fault. Right. We didn't know that men could be kind and sweet and caring and not abusive and not call you names and insult you and not coerce you or force you to have sex with them and not guilt trip you for not having sex with them. What exposure do we have to that? And so when we do get that, we're like,
push
you know, that's the revolt. It's like, what is
all this love?
What is this love shit? You know?
Why are you being nice to me? Broken.
Don't call me baby. That shit is weird. You know? Like, but that ends up happening. And the thing is, I'm fortunate, you know, in my adult years to have had experiences, you know, with different, I mean, I'm queer. I've dealt with people, men, women, agender, non-binary folks, right? I'm a serial dater. I love it. I just love that life. But I have had the opportunity to be involved with men who have seen that hardness in me and have treated me in the softest ways that I should have had as a child.
That's right.
That I should have had as a teenager, right? What we are seeing with this whole Epstein thing, what this Epstein thing is exposing, it's just how many women and girls and boys and men have gone through this.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the societal shift and possible collapse is going to stem from. The realization that humanity is filled with monstrous people. And there's no way for us to reconcile that. The people who I think are, you know, are trying to get it right, the ones who want to replace us all with robots.
Oh yeah,
like
desire to make it right.
Right. Look at Begonia. But anyway, I don't want to ruin it. But it's like Begonia was basically like, nah, man, y'all can't get right. How many movies do we need with aliens talking about y'all can't get right?
I know. Trust me.
You know. So anyway, let's this is happy, y'all. This is a lot. I want, you know, we had a great conversation. Y'all been rocking with us this whole time. I really appreciate you so much. Hit the like button on the way out if you didn't already. Please subscribe if you're new to this channel. If you came here because of Kathy, thank you so much. I hope that you subscribe. I'm usually live on Tuesdays and Fridays. Sometimes I go live impromptu if, you know, say the president self-deletes or whatever, you know, we're going to be live for those kinds of things. And I really appreciate all your support. I do have that QR code in the corner. It's to go to my merch store, feministajones.com/merch. If you loved what you heard today, you want to send us some coins, FemJones on everything. And I will actually redirect that to my girl Kathy because, you know, life has been kicking her in the ass lately. So if you send me stuff, I'm going to send it over to Kathy. She's going to give me her information and stuff like that.
Sweet.
So let's do that, y'all. So if you were here with us for most of the time, you know what goes into this. 2 hours of talking is a lot. And also go to FemJones.com, BHM26. I'm offering Black History Month workshops every Wednesday in February. Come get some knowledge. Pay what you can. If all you can pay is $0, that's okay, because there's other people that's going to cover you. Don't worry about it. Come and get this knowledge. I love you all. I'm going to remove you now, Kathy. Thank you so much again for joining.
Much
and I
love
really
to
hope that you
Thank
come
you
back.
So much.
Thank you. You guys know what we're seeing happening is absolutely horrific. When they start arresting journalists for exercising their freedom of speech, the First Amendment right, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom to petition the government for redress, which is what protesters are doing. I need to remind people sometimes that that's what the First Amendment is talking about. That last line that nobody ever really talks about, it is the right. You have the right to petition your government for redress when you believe that you're being harmed by them or they're not functioning in the best interests of the people. And that's what protesters are doing. They are protesting ICE, which is a government agency. So they have just as much right to do that as the journalists have the right to cover it, as people have the right to speak out against it. And let's remember this, as much as they're trying to strip us of those rights, if you are on my Patreon, please check out that post that I just made about the Heritage Foundation and their report on families, because in there, they have a line that is so telling, and they're citing one of the founding fathers saying that the Constitution is only for moral and religious people. This is how they're sliding into this, right? They are going to eventually determine that the Constitution does not protect everyone's rights. They've already started it with the immigrants and saying, well, they have no rights because they're here. That is not what the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all the amendments say. That is not what that means. But they're trying to make it so. Keep your head on swivel, all right? We have to learn these things. We have to study these things. We have to know these things, all right? So brush up. If you haven't read the Constitution and all the amendments and the Bill of Rights and all this stuff in the law, go back and read it and understand what those fundamental rights are and how they are under attack, okay? Knowledge is going to be the key to this. Knowledge is power. Showing up for each other is going to be what's important. Not listening to these stupid people planning these mass protests and not teaching people how to protest and cover their faces and all those kinds of things in the goddamn bouncy houses and weird tattoos and buttons and pins and shit. None of that is going to help us. What's going to help us is the revolutionary spirit that I know is deep down in each and every one of you. You all got on my homegirl, Leslie, yesterday because she says she does not agree with the rest is resistance framework. She has every right to disagree with that. I don't care if you like it or not. She has every right, her free speech, to disagree with a framework that maybe you love. And you didn't understand what she was talking about it because she said rest is revolutionary. And those are two different things. But because y'all don't know words, you confuse them because you haven't done the reading. And what I need you all to do is step back and listen to the experts. Listen to the historians, listen to the people with knowledge, listen to the seasoned organizers, listen to the people who have been doing this work for most of their lives. We know what we're talking about. And if you're new to this, this is great. We need everybody on the team, but y'all have got to humble yourselves and listen. We've read the blueprints. You don't know where to find them. We're trying to help. We're trying to guide. We're trying to lead. But you all have got to get on board and stop thinking that you have the answers to everything. Right now, every single day, I'm watching the FBI fucking infiltrate our social media and plant people to sow division. I just saw somebody say, maybe we should not celebrate anything for Black History Month and we should all go silent. That is a goddamn government plant. Nobody says things like that. And yet so many people responded like, you know what, you might be onto something, you dumbasses. That's the government. Please, I need you all to be smarter about these things. That's how they're going to get us. They're going to get us through the illiteracy and the ignorance. So please, I understand if you feel insecure about these things and you're not really sure what to do. I understand. We got it. People like Leslie Mack have been organizing for years and years and years. She knows what she's doing. And while you may not know her name or see her face, she's been behind so many of the movements that you have seen. So put some respect on her name. And we're not going to tear down people that have been building things up. Like I told you, I did my work. And I've pivoted to education because I believe in education through liberation. But trust me, baby, there's photos out there of me handcuffed and me at these rallies and marches and leading them. I led the largest demonstration against police brutality in modern history. I've done the work too. So you need to listen to the experts when we talk. And when I tell you that we will win, I need you to believe that we will win. This is not going to go on for a long time. It's not. It can't. It's not sustainable. There's nothing sustainable about this. I need you to hold on, and I need you to be strong. I need you to be smart, and I need you to be strategic. And stop falling for the bullshit. Wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, I believe that we will win. Before you go to bed at night, I believe that we will win. I love you with the love of my ancestors, and I love you with the spirit of liberation. And I hope you all enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday. Free Don Lemon.